worked for almost 19 years now, going to be close to 2 decades. And I feel right now is the prime time for marketers, where really brands are getting built in India. Most of the categories in India are unbranded. There's really no strong brand, and they're waiting to take off. And that's why it's amazing to see a lot of brands, coming to their own, really becoming strong brands like how it is in the Western worlds. And therefore, the role of marketers have become very, very crucial. Over the years, what I've learned is while there are some companies and brands that do look at marketing as a support function, it is really what we bring to the table also as marketers. Some companies might have evolved to really understand the importance of it. Some may not, but the opportunity exists in both, right? So it's very important that you bring to the table the value of being a brand builder. While we are saying marketing, it's really building the brand from inside out. If you can really understand functions and business propositions outside of communication, outside creative collaboration, which we generally do as marketers, but if you can bring a difference to the product portfolio, if you can bring a difference to the, even the supply chain process that exists and what is the consumer's need. So really bringing consumer centricity inwards in the organization is what the role of a marketer should be today. And that's something that I really thrive on when I take on a role of a brand. And if I have to talk about my current role at Duroflex, it's part of an industry which was literally sleepy. It is into the sleep solution space with the primary product being mattresses, which was something that as Indians we wouldn't really pay for. Even today, almost 60% of the category is unbranded. And in that case, it really becomes important that you understand consumers' pain point, what they're aware of and what they're not aware of also. Educate consumers, but also bring that voice inward in the organization. And therefore, there's a lot that marketers can bring to the table and really make a difference to the whole business from a consumer point of view, from adding value to the consumer. If we look at our role as just what is available in the business, and you're going to put that out to the consumer, that's really not, in my opinion, that's really not a job well fulfilled as a independent marketer. That's really the support function that probably a lot of brands seek. If you really want to bring your creative nuance that you already have, and honestly, marketers have a great alignment, especially today with data being available at our fingertips. Marketers are well equipped with data as well as the left and right brain combination. And that is a very powerful combination. And that's a voice that probably is not there across the organization. And if we can really harness the potential of that, brands can really change. And in my experience, I've seen a lot of categories, really transforming themselves, creating value propositions which are going to transform categories, not only brands. So they really become the voice of the category as a brand. And India is in that sort of a brink, and the role of marketers is really, really crucial right now. Marketing is something that is a very unique combination of passion, of the brain, of what you're getting educated as fundamentals, but also the flair that you bring in. While data is black and white, is really, the marketer can read what is the gray area, and that's not visible, to everyone. And probably that's why a lot of brands necessarily have CEOs or leaders which have handled marketing functions, or which have a marketing flair, because that's something that's a very well balanced combination versus just knowing a selling proposition, which is more of a push strategy. So if you're in a brand that needs to really transform itself, that really needs to shine through above what the category is already existing, then it's very important that you do not become a Me Too person. Me Too in the sense of agreeing to everything that's on the table. You do need to bring in a question or a point of view which might be different. However, collaboratively, get everyone to align, because without alignment, there is no success story. So while I'm saying bring in a point of view which might be different, it is also about collaborating and partnerships internally and externally. So a marketer's role is actually a combination of getting in a differential point of view, but also knowing how to bring alignment and successful execution towards that. And it is a very tricky tightrope that we all walk in. It is becoming more and more difficult because today there is no digital divide, right? So it's difficult and an opportunity. There is no digital divide. There is no different digital marketer. If there is, it shouldn't exist in your organization. A marketer should be able to look at one piece of consumer journey holistically, and that should be across digital, across experiential, offline, online, whatever the mediums may be. But they should be looking at where the consumer is, what the experience is, how are they reacting to your business, what is the final interaction they're doing, and are they happy with what they've done. So it's very important that the marketer understands this complete consumer journey, also understands the business proposition. So it is definitely a tightrope where you have to balance the creative output, you have to balance a unique point of view, as well as get something out there which is creatively viral enough and different enough. We all should think we're magicians, nothing short of that. Having said that, data is something all of us should get comfortable with, because there is this perception that exists even today that marketers do something on the side with creativity, and probably data is not their strength. And I would urge all the marketers to really become, if they're not yet very strong in understanding the business PNL, in really understanding how data insights can empower us as marketers, it's something that will really make us better. And that's what I have learned over my journey of handling roles in product, sales, marketing, being part of categories as diverse as lingerie to mattress, to fashion. I think it's all about really walking your consumer's shoe as well as your business owner's shoes, and walking that vision closely enough. And that is liberating. So independent marketer, honestly, as the word goes, I would really call it liberating. You should really liberate yourself from the chaos and the daily struggle that probably a salesperson experiences. You should absolutely empathize with them. You should understand their problem, but at the same time, you should be liberated enough to think from a consumer's angle who doesn't know any of this, right? So what is the kind of expectation at the highest order that they might expect? As I mentioned earlier, even in areas like supply chain. So today, even a category like ours, we are working towards how can we do fulfillment in 24 hours, which is not very easy for a heavy FMCD sort of a category. But that's the consumer expectation today. So if they can get it in grocery, if they can get it in all categories, so why not even in mattresses? So if you start looking at it from this angle and get the whole business to rally together to give propositions which satisfy the consumer, that's the only real reason why your business will grow in today's environment. Gone are the times where you could as a brand sit on a throne if you've done well in the past and you could just continue. I think today is an amazing time, especially in the Indian context, where global brands are coming in. Legacy brands like ours is transforming ourselves to become very, very, very fast growing brand. But there are also startup brands which are becoming really world class and world famous. So it's a very interesting eco mix, and that's where the power probably lies in the marketer's hand within an organization, but it lies also in how much they've been empowered to do it. I think marketing shouldn't be called marketing anymore. It's essentially brand building. And it is something that sits at the center of the organization, with all the functions kind of leading inward and outward from the brand building function. It is where you have to really interact with all functions to really understand the business value proposition that will be important enough to the consumer. or what the consumer wants and you're not able to give, and you should bring in it towards the consumer. So for that, your eyes, your ears, your conversations with all these stakeholders is very crucial. There are many times that probably other functions might not understand the point of view that you're coming from, or what is the ideas, because it might be very different from where the business is today, or it might seem very difficult. So that's the creativity that you bring inwards by really storytelling that perspective, also that as to where the business can grow and what is the vision that can be really achieved if we kind of do that change. And that's when your data skills, and that's when your entire understanding of the P&L comes in. And then once the business is able to give that, or already giving that, is when you take it to the consumer and make the connect as well. So you are right. You're really in the middle of the consumer and the entire business functions, but also within the organization at the center of it, because probably all the decisions should kind of have the marketer involved, and the marketing teams brainstorming enough to really know whether it's finally valuable for the consumer or not.